Hi everybody, Lori here from Unique in the Creek. Today we are going to make a nautical. Okay, my friends, everybody knows somebody that has a nautical bathroom and or a nautical room. For some reason, I always have a friend that has a nautical bathroom themed. You know what I mean? So today we're going to do a big anchor. We are going to be using, I got this off Amazon. This is 5/8 inch cotton roping. 5/8 width and 50 feet. I believe I found it for $17 on .com, Amazon.com. Yes, I've started it already because it's very, very basic. Very basic to make this. Very easy meaning. So what I'm using, 2 cane boards, which I'm going to put on top of each other. I even marked it. We are using 1 rectangle board and this 5/8 inch roping. Now, I didn't want to be wrapping. I wanted something totally different than nobody else has done. So I didn't want to wrap, because when you wrap, you're going to use a lot of rope if you're going to wrap. And I wanted to do something like totally different. Like, look at this. Isn't that a cool design? That is such a cool design. And watch, I'll show you how super easy it is. Okay, so first thing I did is I got 2 cane boards. One is facing one way, the other is facing the other way. The one that you put on the top, so this is the bottom, the one you put on the top, we're going to be using most of the rows on that top one, okay? The other one, the bottom one, we're only going to be using 1 to 8. So if you flip it over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're using rows 1 to 8. And then the top one, we're going to be using 1 to 13. Okay? And then on the rectangle board, because we are going to attach this to this at the end. So, and then we're going to use row 16 and 17 for the top. And then on the rectangle board, we're going to be using all the rows, but from A to E, my loops are going to the right. And then F to J, my loops are going to be going to the left. Okay? And then we're going to put this all together to make a big anchor. This is a pretty big anchor, my friends. And then in the center here is where I'm going to make just a simple bow. So we'll use this and maybe a pop of red. I got, some starfishes. I got some sand dollar. I know, I have a whole bucket here of nautical. I call it my nautical bucket. I could hang off some of this, cut a piece of this. Oh, that would be cool. Cut a piece of this netting off and maybe drape it over the anchor a little bit. All right, so let's get this bad boy started because it's time consuming. It's easy, but time consuming. So I threw my 50 feet of roping just into a box. Okay, now we're not putting anything together yet, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So again, this is the bottom part of the anchor. We will be using row 1 to 8. So I'm just going to put this to the side. This is the top of the anchor. Now we are going to use some hot glue. And I do have my wood burner because I do have to wood burn a couple holes into my board. Okay. So when you put these over top of one another without the zip ties, Okay, because we will be zip tying the boards, these two boards together eventually, but it's easier to make your design and then at the end we'll put it together. Okay, so we're going to put it together, and then where I want it, these two very center holes don't line up with these holes. So what I want to do is have the cross point of my anchor right centered just like that. So it's right where row 15 is. So there's 17, 16, where 15 is the top two holes. Okay, and I'm just using a Sharpie marker, making dots, and then we'll do the bottom two holes here. And that's those holes, we're going to wood burn holes into there. And then at the end is where, that's how we're going to attach this cross part onto the board, onto our anchor. Okay. So, first thing I'm going to do is take my wood burner, and I'm just going to press right where my, there we go. Woo, dinky. Right where my dots are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That was pretty easy. All right, now I want to mark the bottom one and put the holes in it. All right, and there we go. There we go. All right, I'm going to shut this off. That's all we needed the wood burner for. Okay, so eventually when we're ready to, we can zip tie them right there and use our, everything will be zip tied together. Okay, first one I'm going to start is the top one. I have preloaded the outside, so the hole to the outside of the board, the hole to the outside of the board, and then I wanted to make sure that one was completely in the center, so I did from this hole all the way to this hole. Okay, this rope is pretty thick, so it does stay in there really well. We're also going to be using some glue after I get everything in to make sure our loops are exactly where we want them. Although they're pretty good right now without even gluing. But isn't that a cool design? So I'll show you how I did this. All you're going to do is take your rope. Now I wouldn't pre-cut your pieces because this stuff frays like crazy. Unravels. Unravels like crazy. So what I was doing, it was cutting 3 pieces at a time and putting them into the design right away. So you're going to bring out your rope. I'm going to cut at the 18, at the 12, and at the 6. So you're making 6-inch pieces with your rope. Okay, and once you've preloaded, again, this is the top part. I preloaded row 1 all the way to 13, the outside. And then all I'm going to do is, this is how you don't waste roping by twisting it or wrapping it. Take this piece, 6-inch piece, I'm going to put it, we'll just start the center first. Just put it in at about 1/8 of an inch and do that center one up. Now, like I said, I have it a big long zip, it's just a 6-inch zip tie, but I have it from going from here to here, so it will be completely in the center. Okay? And then I'm going to take this one, again, just about 1/8 of an inch in, do it up. I'm kind of angling the two edge ones kind of in so that these frayed pieces don't stick out. It'll stick out the board a little bit. But we're going to go back and just add a little touch of glue to each loop so that they stay in place and you won't see any of the edges. All right, and once you got those 3 in, you're going to cut your zip tie. And we are repeating for the whole thing. That's why I said it's very easy to do. It's just time consuming, but it's going to be very cool when it's finished. So 18, 12, now you can do this with jute roping too if you wanted. It almost looks like it's what's that? Macrame. Doesn't it look like it's like a macrame loops? Now, if you wanted to use thinner than 5/8, so like the ones that we have in our store, it's a 1/2 inch by 7/8. What you would have to do if you wanted to use the smaller roping, and it can be done, what you're going to do is you're going to have to do 4 pieces across. So you would load up your board with 4 zip ties going across. So it depends what look you want, right? Okay, so there's 4 across, and let's try the thinner 1/2 inch roping. We'll still do the 6-inch. So 24, 18, 12, 6. So you would put, we'll do our center ones first. And when you're making your loop, you kind of want to make sure the loop lengths are the same. So there you go. You can do with a smaller roping. You just need a little bit more. But it looks pretty cool as well. Just make sure they're all the right length. And there you go. So there's the smaller loops. Okay, and then at the end we're going to glue things. But you can do it with any kind of loops. You just have to, I'm only using 3 zip ties. The smaller ones you'd need 4. A lot of cottages and stuff like that. People have nautical themed stuff. So people are always looking for a really cool nautical theme decor. So this is a really cool one. They won't find this in the stores. All right, so there is 1 to 13. So that's our top one. So now I'm going to finish, this is the bottom one. So we loaded 1 to 8 on the bottom one, putting them in the exact same way. So 6, 12, 18. 1, 2. Okay, there's the bottom one. We did the top one. What we have to do we're going to connect the here. So we have to do the top rows. They're going to go in the same, except these loops are going to go this way. So cover up here. All right, so there's the top of our anchor done. Okay, so when we put it together so far, this is what we got. This is what we got. So we'll be gluing these to make sure they stay in place. All right, now we need to do the cross thing. You see how it's going to be attached? So I did the one side. So this side, from, like I said, from A to E is going this way, and then from F to J is going this way. Okay, so we're starting again with just in the middle. Now, the cross one is just because you're going with the 3. So from here to here, from here to here, and here to here. You may not want to do the edge ones because it'll kind of flip over. So just use the 3. Just make sure when you do the outside ones, you kind of angle them kind of in. That way, when you're angling them in, it will cover the edge of the board, okay? See how I'm just kind of angling it a little bit into the zip tie? There we go. Make sure they're the same length. All right. Now we are going to have to do the center here. I'm going to preload these. Now I kind of know how I'm going to attach it in my mind. I just don't know if the actual thing works. It should. And I'm going to zip tie these together. So I'm just preloading E and F. Okay, now I'm going to zip tie. We're going to line up these holes, and we're going to zip tie. I'm going to use this 10-inch down between the two here. Okay, there's one. Then I think I'll do one maybe up here. No, I'll just keep this one because these will be zip tied with this one. So I'm putting the zip tie on row 10. So down both and coming around the board. I'm not going to do them up super tight yet because I'm not sure if I have to lift it at all or let's see. Okay, so everything is covered. Yay. Like I said, we'll be gluing some of these. So that's zipped. I'm going to finish putting these, making these ones. So these two, the top for E and F and the bottom for E and F. Now we're going to have a bow right in the center with our anchor ribbon. So we're going to stay away this way for row F. Here. Right in the middle, so E and F. This one is 9 inches. 9 inches this one is. So it's a little bit longer. That's covering up the zip tie there, and it'll cover up the zip ties over here. All right, and we'll do another one going up this way. And the bow is, I'm gonna put a bow there, so you can see where I went from here to here, and I'm gonna go from here to here with the other loop going upwards. Okay. 9 inches. There we go. And you won't see any of this because we're making a bow right there. Or if you don't want to put a bow, you can put a starfish to cover that up. Remove these. They will cover the zip ties. Perfect. Okay, we'll flip that up, and then now we'll go and attach it. So, where we burnt those holes, come from the bottom, going through the top, from E and F, going through, and then back down. Oh, wrong. There we go. Okay, we'll do that up. Not tight yet, so we can do the other side. My thing came out of my zip tie. Tying her up tight. Okay, bring these over. Okay, just snip these off. Zip everything up now. So there's the two ones at the bottom here. Okay, that'll cover that one. We're going to put a zip tie through here. We're going to make a hanger. Actually, I'm going to use the 10-inch. Down. Back up. There's our hanger. So what you're going to want to do now, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me glue the whole thing, but what I'm going to do, once everything is put together, we're going to start, and you're just going to put a dab of glue and make sure it's just right over top of each. Make sure these are kind of pushed in. You don't want to see any of these frayed pieces of rope. Put a dot of glue on the back there and then make sure it's all kind of pushed in. So it covers the zip ties and it's covering any of the strings that you might have underneath them. Just like that. So you're just going to go around and glue all your little loopies down so they're covering everything. See, you don't want that zip tie showing. So we're going to make sure with a little bit of glue that it's covered. Okay, so you're going to go around and glue your things. So you're going to go see when you glue these, you want to make sure that this is going to glue here and here like that. This one's going to glue here and here like that, so you don't see the corner zip ties like that. All right, do that all the way around. Same with down here. When you got the blended or the double board, make sure all your stuff is tucked in, and then you're going to glue. Just put a dab of glue there, dab of glue there. One there, and you're going to make sure that that loop is covering there. So the glue is just to keep them where you want them. Okay, easy peasy. So you'll go around and do all that. I'll probably put a little bit of E6000 maybe underneath these. This kind of moves it just a little bit. Not that it makes a big deal or anything. Might flip these over and trim some of these ones that are a little bit long and might be sticking out. There we go. Trim it up. So I just cut a small piece of this netting off. That kind of looks, that'll look kind of cool too. So that looks good. 7, so 10-inch tail. And the loops, we don't want to take up the whole anchor, so we just want small loops, and that's why I'm using a 1.5 inch. That's a good size. So 4-inch loop. I shall do 4.5 inch. There's one on each side. I might just do three loops on each side. So I just did 3 4.5 inch loops. That's good enough for me. Okay, put a zip tie around and a pipe cleaner. I'm going to put a piece of roping around the center, I think, of the bow. And of course you can make your bow however you want. Simple bow. Nothing super fancy. I'm going to take a piece of this, the smaller roping I cut. Where did it go? I'm just going to put a piece of that around. Hold that for a second. Okay, this should be interesting. I'm trying to get this down the holes. Okay, I'm going to get my needle thing. That will help a lot. Find it. I need a hook thing like Jack's got. Okay, so where I'm going to go with my bow, I think I'm going to go right here where these, where 15 is. I'm going to have to move that one out of the way there. Let's try. try it this way. I knew this would be the hard part. Go right down. It's going through the the other side of the rope. So I'm just kind of pushing these strands apart. There we go. That's through that 9-inch piece, and then I'm just going to go straight down because I can see the holes where the zip ties are. There, that was much easier. One side, yay! There we go. Have this netting. Oh, I like that. Okay, so all I did was cut a little piece of netting. I'm going to glue that. Glue wherever the starfish is going to sit, like that. Can you see? Oh, that looks so cool. There, just like that. There, I didn't even have to glue the netting. I just kind of hung it. Of course, you guys can decorate whatever you guys, however you want to do yours. I just thought it looks pretty cool. Because you know how there's a round piece sometimes at the anchor? I'm going to leave that hanger, but I'm going to make kind of a... Let's try this. Oh, yes. Perfect. Look at that. Now, I wouldn't hang it from that. I still have my hanger on the back there. Need that little loop at the top that the anchors have. I think I might make the loop a little bit too big. It's okay. Oh, I love it! Look at it! That's super cool. See how I made a loop at the top? So if you have any extra cane boards from Christmas, get your anchor on. And like I said, it's 20, this is a big anchor. It's, now with my loop, it's 24 inches long and still 23 inches wide. Bye, everybody.